So like this is because Seltzer is like a very reputable pollster. Like people were looking at Iowa being deep red normally. People were looking at this poll and being like, oh, it'll be like +5. If it's like +5 Trump, that is good for Kamala, right? Let's take a look. Let's do some poll watch and we'll talk about Seltzer.
Washington Bureau Chief Rick Klein is here with our latest poll with Ipsos. And this race, Rick, I mean, it is as close as ever.
Yeah, good morning, Janae. Our ABC News Ipsos poll has Kamala Harris just out this morning in 49-46 lead over Donald Trump. That's just a tick tighter than last week when we had the lead at 4 points, but it's all well within the margin of error. And narrowing into the 7 battleground states, guess what? Nothing changes. An identical lead, 49-46 across the 7 battlegrounds. But inside the individual battlegrounds, we still see a little bit of a different story. These are our 538 polling averages. Harris leading in Michigan and Wisconsin, but by less than a percentage point. Right now, trailing narrowly in the polling averages everywhere else, including Arizona. That's 2.5 points. But again, all of this is within any polling margin of error, and there's new polls even out this morning that would suggest a tighter race, even if that's possible here. And there are signs of discontent everywhere, particularly among voters for Donald Trump. But among all voters, 74% say that the country is on the wrong track going into Election Day. That includes half of Harris supporters, and wait for it, 98% of Trump voters say we are on the wrong track as a country. And 60% of voters say they are still dissatisfied with the candidates. And we finally found an area of bipartisan unity. 61% of Harris supporters and 57% of Trump supporters agree that they are dissatisfied with the candidates they are voting.
I thought people loved Harris's campaigning. I thought that they thought that she was fucking hot shit. That's crazy. I wonder why people are saying that. I wonder how we got here again, dude. How the fuck did that happen? Now, listen, and I've repeated this time and time again. She is not Hillary Clinton, okay? She doesn't have the metric ton of dissatisfaction, distaste, anger, resentment, hatred, and conspiracy theories that Hillary Clinton had, which is why it was fucking insane for the Democratic Party to be like, this is the candidate, and you're going to shut the fuck up, and you're going to vote for her. Okay? She didn't have that. She doesn't have that, which is why, you know, this is not the end all be all. Okay? Not the worst thing. She, however, is not a very good campaigner. She's just not. She's not very, doesn't have a lot of riz. She's black. America's, oh no, for sure. That definitely plays a role. America's also sexist too. But guess what? Guess what? What do I always tell incels? Okay? You don't look at the situation. You don't look at a situation that's like built against you and turn around and say, well, any guy can be 7. I do say that. You got to play to your advantages and you got to overcome your disadvantages, you know? That's it. I would never be like, oh, this person is a black woman, so she shouldn't run for president, especially if they have dope policies. You know what I mean? It don't matter. Like what? You think she didn't realize that America was racist and that she was a black woman running in a racist country? No, of course she knows that. What the fuck? That's precisely the reason why she didn't do the I'm with her style bullshit in the way that Hillary Clinton did. Okay? So, I don't think the race is going to be close. I don't understand why they don't factor in the Supreme Court and Congress when they talk about the country being on the wrong track. No. Country being on the wrong track is an understandable predicament, understandable position for people to take. I mean, do you think the country's on the right track? I don't. You know what I mean? I don't think the country's on the right track. I get it. I get why people say that because it's not on the right track. The wheels have fallen off this bitch.
Voting on this week.
Wow. And Rick, as for the battleground states, what are the candidates eyeing?
You consistently said that Hillary ran a bullshit campaign. What was it about her that made you a supporter of her back in the day? What do you mean? I was incredibly critical of Hillary Clinton and talked about how dog shit she was. But I also understood what it would look like for Donald Trump to be president. And I was right. And that's why I was like, yeah, no, you can't. You know, I like that you said a major supporter of Hillary Clinton. I was like, no, this is unacceptable. You cannot have Donald Trump become president. That is devastating. That is devastating for the country's future. And I was right. Okay.
as their likeliest paths to victory at this point.
Yeah, and you heard Selena lay it out a little bit, but if the polls lined up exactly where things are in the Electoral College, if the polls are right, which is a big if, you'd have Donald Trump winning right now, 287 electoral votes. That's more than 270. But the polls, of course, are often off a little bit. So here's the scenario that Selena was talking about, the blue wall. Wisconsin, Michigan, and Pennsylvania, if they all go for Kamala Harris, that is 270 electoral votes exactly. That means the presidency for her. For Donald Trump, a couple of different paths, but the likeliest, let's say he carries Nevada and Arizona, where he's been leading in the polling averages, Georgia and North Carolina in the South, historically more Republican. He just needs one more state, and it could be any of the big three. Pennsylvania, the likeliest and the biggest prize. That is the biggest battleground, and it is close to a must-win as we see for both candidates. There's agreement on that this year as well.
And Rick, we were talking about this behind the scenes this morning, that poll out of Iowa that now shows Harris leapfrogging, leading Trump. 3%. What can we?
So this is because Seltzer is a very reputable pollster. People were looking at Iowa being deep red normally. People were looking at this poll and being like, oh, it'll be +5. If it's +5 Trump, that is good for Kamala, right? That means that there is a lot of still resentment for Donald Trump from the base. Maybe some people are not going to go out and vote. And people were looking to extract some kind of data from this that would be helpful for a national snapshot of what the broader electorate looks like. So for this poll to just come out +3 for Kamala Harris, okay, it was nutty. Guy for interpreting the Iowa Seltzer poll, Trump +0 to 5, great sign for Harris. Trump 6 to 7, solid result for Harris. Trump 8 to 9, +8 to 9, neutral. Mirrors close Rust Belt polling. Trump +10, not good for Harris. Anything more than 12 and is Jover. This is before the poll came out. That's what the analysis was, because Iowa is supposed to be super red. Well, maybe not super red, but red enough. Iowa allowing huge innovations in fuck-ass map science. Caitlin Clark is Iowa's GOAT. Huge asterisk, +3 within the margin of error, so it was better to call this a dead even poll than Harris ahead by 3. It doesn't matter. The point is, this is unexpected. This doesn't mean that Texas is going to fucking turn blue or whatever, okay? This doesn't mean that at all. What this simply says is that Trump's base in deep red places, at least in the middle of the country, is kind of withering away a little bit in comparison to places like Florida, where he's obviously cooking. Okay. I don't think Kansas is going to fucking turn blue. That's not what I'm saying at all. I'm simply saying that things are not looking good in Trump world. And you can tell that things are not looking good in Trump world because they're freaking the out over this. And early voting data showing a lot of women coming out and voting also does not look good for the Trump world, because the Trump world keeps complaining about how men need to go out and vote. Please go out and vote. If you don't vote, you're gay. Iowa voters in 2024 for some reason.
Black woman is speaking. Listen and learn. Listen and learn.
Anyway, do you think the other big pollsters are just hurting with the conservative Harris lead? That's the assumption right now. And pollsters have said as much. They do have a Trump bump that they baked in because they don't want to fuck it up. I'm really glad it's close, and they keep saying it's tied. It will get more people to vote. Remember in 2016, they said Hillary had a 90% chance to win, and I think it hurt her chances. A lot of people just decided not to vote. Yeah, there were a lot of issues there. I think the lack of motivation to go out and vote wasn't because Hillary's definitely going to win. I think it was people also despising her and despising Donald Trump too, but definitely despising her. My favorite Iowa meme, Pennsylvania. We're the nation's closest swing state. We don't like Trump, but Kamala hates fracking. This is so difficult. Iowa. It's just, these memes are so stupid. Anyway, let's continue.
Glean from that.
Yeah, well, just for starters, remember where Iowa landed last time. That was not particularly close, about an 8 or 9 point win for Donald Trump. And it's possible that this poll is on to something powerful. It could be an outlier, it could be off. But if it's right, not just about Iowa, but about some other upper Midwestern states like Wisconsin Wisconsin and Michigan, if we start to see women break more heavily toward Kamala Harris, that might change the landscape on election night. We'll have to wait and see, Janae.
Very interesting. Rick, thank you so much.
Oh man, libs are libbing the fuck up. You can tell the right wing doesn't think they're doing well. Your boy Alex Jones is back. Yeah, that's dude. Oh my God, he looks extra red. He kind of looks better now than he ever has, but also in this video, he looks super red. Other key findings in the Iowa poll: independent women back Harris by a 28-point margin. Senior women support her by more than a 2-to-1 margin, 63% to 28%. 97% of them support Harris, while only 89% of Republicans support Trump. I love old people now. Nah. Iowa had abortion protected by state courts. Then just days before Dobbs, the Iowa State Supreme Court struck that right down. The GOP passed a 6-week abortion ban. It was upheld by the state Supreme Court this summer. This is the first election since that ruling. And here's what I think is being slept on this fall. There's a state Supreme Court justice in Iowa who's on the ballot in Tuesday. He sided with the majority in his 4-3 upholding of the abortion ban this summer. As a reminder, there are also state justices who upheld the abortion bans this year on the ballot in Florida and Arizona. In Arizona, the GOP has put a constitutional amendment on the ballot that would nullify those elections. If Kamala wins white women vote, it is an abortion. She should think it's Taylor Swift. No, dude. 80-year-old women are not voting for Kamala Harris because of fucking Taylor Swift. They're not playing in their abortion ads.
Dr. Davis, what do I do?
John, she needs an abortion or she's going to die from the pregnancy.
Sorry, that's not happening.
What are you doing? Who are you?
I'm your Republican congressman. Now that we're in charge, we banned abortion. No exceptions.
You can't do this. She's dying.
I won the last election.
Okay, this is crazy because it's like this is kind of funny, but it's a real thing that's happening. So it's kind of fucked up to make this. It's kind of fucked up to make it in this way where it almost feels like comical. Like this is not hyperbole. This is not the A24 style horror flick that we saw with the other like cop pulling a young lady over with her dad when they're crossing the state border.
So it's my decision. But don't worry, you can still have children, just not with her.
Have you seen the thing with Turkey? No.
Wir versprechen Ihnen, dass wir die Kommunisten, Marxisten, Faschisten und die Linksradikalen sind, die wie Ungeziefer in
Jesus Christ. Okay, hold on. Wait, are you guys getting the, let me make sure that we have the, do we have the content, sensitive content warning up or not? Do you guys have it? You see it? The tag is up? Okay, just want to make sure that the sensitivity tag is on. Okay, good. Hey, Chad, someone tell me where to read about what the +3 for Harris means. Just trying to figure this out for myself. Chatter is looking for the truth. He's like, this fuck ass Hasan bullshit. Get him out of here. Like my entire coverage has been afforded to just like explaining to you exactly what that means. And he's like, I don't really care about this. I don't really care what you have to say. I like it though. It's good. Seek it out on your own.
Landleben ausrotten werden. Aber wir holen sie nicht aus den verseuchten Ländern. Ich weiß nicht, ob man sie Menschen nennen kann. In einigen Fällen sind es meiner Meinung nach keine Menschen, sondern Tiere. Sie vergiften das Blut unseres Landes.
Yeah, they're poisoning the blood of this country is like a direct verbatim Hitler bar. So that's like, that was pretty crazy. That was pretty fucking crazy.
Wir werden die größte Abschiebeaktion durchführen. Wenn ich nicht gewählt werde, wird es ein Blut.
I mean, I think they're just saying Donald Trump's this is a Trump speech just in German, but the enemy from within poisoning the blood of this nation, like America for Americans. Those are all direct, verbatim, not paraphrased Hitler bars. Okay? Straight up. So when people go, dude, you're being hyperbolic. Like, no, that's just straightforward Nazi shit. Okay?
Blutbad geben. Ich bin eure Vergeltung. Ich möchte nur einen Tag lang Diktator sein.
Fuck you, Hasan. I'm a canvasser in North Carolina. If you've gotten, oh my God, I will vote for Donald Trump stuck in my head, and I've been singing it on the field. If North Carolina goes red, it's your fault. North Carolina +10 red. I made every North Carolina canvasser have the fucking song stuck in their goddamn heads. It's not my fault. It's a banger, dude. What do you mean? What the fuck do you mean, dude? You can't be getting mad at me for that.
Oh my God, I will vote. I will vote for Donald Trump. Oh my God, I will vote. I will vote. I will vote Donald Trump.
We don't do ad breaks anymore. We just do I will vote for Donald Trump breaks where I tell you to subscribe for $6 or for free with a Twitch Prime. You know what I mean? Or you can get gifted a sub as well. That way you can send me links and I will keep playing this banger. You can send me this link as a banger to play. What is this? It's over.
The people go out to vote, no fear, no more. Vote for Trump. Let's go. Vote for Trump.
So fucking good, dude. Benign Burger. D Machine, thank you for the 5 gifted. Benign Burger, thank you for the 20 gifted subs. Calm Like a Tom, thank you for the 10 gifted subs. Oh, God. Oh, no. They were expecting thousands of people at the JD Vance rally with Don Jr. in Pennsylvania. Only tens of people showed up. Oh, no. Oh, no. Socialist Thug Jane, thank you for the 5 gifted. Not a good sign. Oh, my God. I will vote. I will vote for Donald Trump. Thing is, Nazis committed genocide. It is kind of extreme to link a person with those guys just because your ideas are nationalist, don't you think? Brother, what do you... I hate this argument so much. I hate it so much. You're literally saying there is no reason to learn about history in order not to repeat the mistakes of the past, okay? Someone does not have to have a goofy-ass mustache and you can present the situation like as the final solution being activated for you to be like, okay, now he's Hitler. Like, what do you mean? I hate this fucking dumbass argument, dude. You think they still weren't Nazis before they killed 6 million Jews? Like, how do you think we got there? Why do you think there is like laws and guidelines surrounding what constitutes a genocide that Israel is violating on a regular basis? But that's besides the point. The entire goal is to stop it from happening before it actually gets to that point, you know? All you're saying to me in this circumstance, okay? All you're saying to me in this circumstance is like, you're basically saying, let Trump mass deport and maybe execute a couple million migrants first before you can correctly call him a Nazi or Adolf Hitler. And like, how many millions does he have to kill before you decide, okay, he is Adolf Hitler, okay? Because, you know, not only is he quoting Hitler, but his policies are also one-to-one directly Adolf Hitler, okay? It's not like Adolf Hitler originally started with like, we're going to kill every Jewish person. You know, he definitely wanted that for sure. But the original goals of the Nazi government was to do mass deportations as well. Okay? Like, you don't arrive at let's execute every single migrant before you arrive at they're dehumanized, they're not real humans, they're eating cats and dogs, they're doing barbaric, horrifying rapes. Okay? You kind of have to get there. You kind of have to gear the crowd up to be open to the mass execution policies. There's a reason why it's called the final solution and not the first solution, okay? This kind of stuff is just like very, very stupid. It's just like anti-intellectual in terms of conducting yourself, in terms of like launching an argument. And it's especially funny because like I made these arguments in 2016 about Donald Trump because I thought that there was enough there in terms of his dehumanizing rhetoric towards migrants in 2016. And he has only increased the pressure and he has only quoted Adolf Hitler more. And chatters are still going, I don't know. Radical police, radical, wee woo, you're being too radical for Twitch, informed Dan Clancy. Yeah. This interview with of a German Post, World War II hits your point exactly how violence is ratcheted and normalized. from Milton Mayer. What no one seemed to notice at a colleague of mine, philologist, was the ever-widening gap after 1933 between the government and the people. Just think how very wide this gap was to begin with here in Germany, and it became always wider. You know, it doesn't matter. It doesn't make people close to their government to be told that this is a people's government, a true democracy, or to be enrolled in civilian defense, or even to vote. All this has really nothing to do with knowing one is governing. What happened here was the gradual habituation of the people, little by little, to being governed by surprise, to receiving decisions deliberated in secret, to believing that the situation was so complicated that the government had to act on information which the people could not understand, or so dangerous that even if the people could not understand it, it could not be released because of national security. And in their sense of identification with Hitler, their trust in him made it easier to widen this gap and reassured those who would otherwise have worried about it. The separation of government from the people, this widening of the gap, took place so gradually and so insensibly, each step disguised, perhaps not even intentionally, as a temporary emergency measure. I mean, this is like post 9/11 America and the normalization of like American war, no matter how bloody or how deadly. There's a direct comparison here with Israel as well and what Israel is doing currently. There's a direct comparison with like post 9/11 America and America's like attitude change. But yeah, in terms of like the way that Donald Trump talks about immigrants and how he lies about immigrants without any sort of pushback whatsoever, you know, it's legitimately terrifying. And there are still chatters in here being like, I don't know, man, you can't really call him a Nazi. Like, yeah, you can. And you should, because it's correct.
Des Moines Register is out with a brand new poll conducted by Jan Selzer's firm. This, as you know, is the gold standard of polling in Iowa, and it shows Vice President Harris with a 3-point lead over Donald Trump in that state. Harris has the support of 47% of likely voters to Trump's 44%. That result within the margin of error.
A gulf had opened up between the Jewish minority and the general population. The latter, while not mobilized around strident and violent anti-Semitism, was increasingly apathetic, passive, and indifferent to the fate of the former. Origins of the final solution. Yeah. Slowly but surely, you increase the pressure that you and you consistently dehumanize the outgroup over and over again, and people just kind of turn a blind eye. This is why I am genuinely terrified about the liberal rhetoric surrounding the issue of immigration. With no counterbalance, with no pushback whatsoever. What about the squirrels, though? What squirrels, man? Shut the fuck up. Oh, my God. Why are people so goddamn annoying? What is that? The fucking one squirrel that was euthanized or some shit? I know. It's fucked up, okay? Shut up. Yeah, they killed the squirrel. I know. It's really fucked up. I agree. But like, time and place, dude. Fuck me. Jesus Christ. Oh my God. Some of you are literally the Hawk Tua understanders in the chat. How is it any different than that shit? It's just like literally another one of those things that like coworkers love and talk about endlessly and relentlessly, and fucking chatters are badgering me with it. It's viral on the conservative side of Twitter and has not broke through to the liberal side. Nobody cares. I just like don't understand why we're having this conversation right now.
Joining us now, pollster Jan Selzer.
Coworker ass chatters in the fucking chat. Jesus Christ.
All right. Jan, obviously you are bringing, we're coming on air right now with this polling. And I mean, we could just put it up on the screen for folks because I didn't have this on my bingo card, as I like to say. Vice President Kamala Harris, 47%, Donald Trump, 44%. Take us inside your poll. What is new here? We know that there's a majority of Iowa men in this poll that say they prefer Trump. A majority of women prefer Harris, likely Iowa voters. This seems like something is happening.
It does seem like something's happening. Now, we've been living with the numbers day by day as we've been gathering the data. So we've had a little bit of time to get over the initial shock. You know, Iowa is a very Republican state. There's only one person at statewide office or federal office who is a Democrat. So to have the presidential candidate lead by a substantive margin was shocking to begin with. One of the reasons she is leading is because of her strength with women generally. even stronger with women aged 65 and over. Her margin is more than 2-1. And this is an age group that shows up to vote or votes early in disproportionately large numbers. So it's a bit of the boost that Kamala Harris has gotten this time.
You know, for me, this is very telling of a lot of the effort and the importance of a little thing called ground game. And when a campaign...
Okay, why are you talking about Iowa? What kind of... I'm sorry. I don't know if I'm wrong on this, but what kind of fucking ground game does Iowa have for the Democratic Party? Is there like a tremendous amount of work and tremendous amount of effort being placed? Maybe tomorrow and today, but like, what is the Democratic Party's ground game in Iowa? I'm sure they're pumping a shit ton. You're wrong. I'm sure they're pumping a shit ton of ads. They have a lot of money, dude. The Democrats have a lot of fucking money. The leftover Obama squad put in the BAM bag together. Local Iowa Dems have been working hard, to be honest. Don't they have infrastructure there because of the Iowa caucus? Surely there's lots of volunteers there. Ohio Sheriff's Lieutenant in hot water as a social post. I'm sorry, if you support the Democratic Party, I will not help you. And the problem is that I know which of you supports the Democratic Party, and I will not help you survive in the end days. That's awesome. That's so fucking funny. Dude, these people are so... God, I love hogs so much. Why do I love hogs so much? Oh my God. Oh my God, I love my fucking hogs. Oh, wonderful. Fantastic. Yeah. Did you see Trump coping about Iowa? Yeah. I know. We're going to get there. Hold on.
Coming in with 107 days to make the case to communities across the country. And we know the importance of communities like ours. Iowa is a bellwether, particularly as you get closer to the election, as it is in the beginning, right? So here we are at the end. What's your take on that aspect of this, that the numbers have changed so dramatically from the 18 points that Donald Trump had to now Kamala Harris over Joe Biden, the 18 points, to now having Kamala Harris up by 3?
It's, clearly there's something going on here if our poll numbers are correct. And it's the same method that I've used really since I started polling. So we have a good accuracy rate. We're comfortable with what it is that we do, which is to allow our data to reveal to us what's happening with the future electorate. So that may be the little lucky charm here, is that we're able to uncover the change that's happening on the ground. We certainly know anecdotally, as you drive around the metro area, you see far more, I guess I'd say far fewer Trump signs than we've seen in past cycles. But, it's hard to put too much faith in that. So now we have some hard numbers. We'll see. I will just mention that neither of these candidates gets to 50%. So there still is some swing left to be determined on election night.
It has been fun to watch all of the folks who follow polls on Twitter try to decide what your poll means for other states. And so I wonder, when you look at white voters specifically, if you think there is something in your poll that you can extrapolate out to Michigan, to Wisconsin, to Pennsylvania?
Well, as your graphics are showing, there is clearly a gender gap there. Iowa is predominantly white, so there's not much analysis we can do on the non-white vote. But I think what it does say is that polls that are deciding that they know what the future electorate looks like may be basing it on past electorates. And in some cases, that would give Harris an advantage, and in some states, that would give Kamala Harris an advantage, or some would give Donald Trump the advantage. So we'll see how that plays out. I just feel like these numbers represent, our last poll in September had Trump leading by just a 4-point margin, when Joe Biden back in June had lost by an 18-point margin. So we're certainly seeing an upward, almost linear shift in the Democratic strength in Iowa.
You know, and I just want to note that the only Democrat elected statewide in Iowa, Rob Sand, when your poll came out, he texted me, and Rob has been saying for a very long time, he is the state auditor, that there have been many close losses in Iowa, and Iowa is in fact a place that's in play for Democrats. And this poll to me indicates perhaps Rob Sand is right, you know, by putting in the work, infrastructure, as Chairman Steele just noted. Have Democrats made Iowa more competitive because of their presence there and also the issue of reproductive rights?
21% shift because of abortion seems a bit much, though. The only way to analyze this is, one, the women voters, older voters in general, and also the fact that like Trump might be depressing Iowa voters with his rhetoric in general. But abortion is pretty consequential. Abortion is pretty consequential, and Donald Trump is running a dog shit campaign. The Democratic Party really hasn't done shit here, and honestly, the state party hasn't done much shit either. More the local county party apparatuses. We hate our governor, so we've been trying to flip our local Congress. That possibly trickled up to the top of the ticket. Source, M. Iowan.
Because that was something that bubbled up on the ground throughout the state, namely led by the governor herself.
Right. Well, I would mention that Rob Sand is that one Democrat elected statewide. So he's got his finger on the pulse of what's happening in the Democratic Party. As we were trying to determine, you know, this is a very short poll because there's no time left to write lengthy stories with lots of data in them. So we don't have as much data as we might like about why this is happening. But our
farmers fucking hate Trump. He actually ruined their lives for years. I've heard this a lot, but like, if that was the case, then Donald Trump wouldn't have gotten 53% of the vote in Iowa to Joe Biden's 44%, 45% of the vote. You know what I mean? Like in 2020, Donald Trump still won Iowa convincingly, right? So I have heard this argument. That tariffs weren't popular for the farmers. But you also have to remember, like, there aren't that many of them. That's number one. And like, it demonstrably did not move the results. And you also have to remember, a lot of these rural voters are not fucking farmers. Okay. They just LARP as farmers, but they're not. Yeah. Hold on. Let's just finish this. And then I'll get to like the way that Trump is behaving and why I think it's like hurting him. Okay. Because Donald Trump is also going kind of crazy. He's going nutty mode. And it's not good. It's not looking too good for him in Trump world. Trump world is coping pretty fucking hard on this shit. And yeah, we'll do hogwash later as well. Okay, let's continue.
Census from the reporters who work this beat
I haven't done
is
SNL
that the
yet.
6-month abortion ban went into effect just this past summer. And so I think as Iowans are starting to see the consequences, it has gotten people interested in voting. The thing we noticed in our September poll that shrunk Trump's lead by 14 percentage points, he lost no actual ground. He had as many respondents supporting him in September as he had in June, but the size of the likely voter pool had increased, and most of that 85 respondents went to Kamala Harris.
So Jan, let's talk about sort of the why, because that's the world I like to live in as a former party official. Is okay, why are voters doing what they're doing? Organization, as we just talked about, you and Simone, you know, that sort of planning that is all good and smart. It's all critically important. But the why narrative tells us a lot of the inside thoughts of the voters. And there are two aspects of the messaging here that feeds into the why. For the Trump people, the narrative that they tried to get up and out in front of voters was, are you better off, right, than you were 4 years ago? For the Harris campaign, it was a different kind of approach. It was, okay, I want you to size the two of us up. And you tell me which one you think is going to be better suited to take care of the nation's interests over their own. And I'm curious as you look at, I'm sure you're going to peel back on these numbers a little bit more, but do you get a sense of the why in that space that the voters looked at the messaging here as a way to sort of the carrot that led them to where we are right now?
Well, I think that question about are you better off, that people tend to think, well, that's your pocketbook. There are other ways that people are not better off. And again, I go back to the Dobbs decision and the 6-week abortion ban, which put women of childbearing age into a danger zone. Some might feel it's that way. The thing I need to point out, and it was pointed out to me by one of the Register reporters, is that this change, I think, is largely organic. That is, the presidential campaigns haven't visited. They're not putting money into this state. So that it's not that this is something that has been created by the campaigns themselves. I think was largely written off, which is why this poll is such a surprise. So I think there's something more organic that people are deciding for themselves. This is the time I'm going to get off the bench. I'm going to show up, and that it appears from my data.
My boyfriend is a registered Republican and he has stupid head ass Trump stickers on his car. He said to me today, don't worry, he's not going to win. Damn. Another truth nuke. Another truth bomb coming in hot. Trump supporters are depressed. She's saying what you said 5 minutes ago, lol. Yeah, because I mean, she's a pollster and I understand what the fuck she's talking about. I already gave you the analysis as to why these people are these people are fucking popping off.
That is happening more on the people deciding to vote for Kamala Harris, the
Stop
Democratic
jacking
candidate.
yourself off. What do you mean?
As a former pre-med student at Johns Hopkins University, I appreciate organic chemistry. Jan Seltzer, thank you so much.
Yeah.
Turning now to our brand new NBC News poll, national political.
How did no one see this or predict this before? I think that there are a lot of people who don't want to fuck up as they have done. There is a crisis in consistently underestimating Trump's chances because of his capacity to hit low propensity voters and drive them out to vote. Okay. Having said that, however, I have kept telling you over and over again for the past couple of months that, like, while Kamala Harris is running objectively a bad campaign, are we gonna talk about Ethan Love You? Chatter, it is November 3rd. I cannot begin to explain to you what is about to happen in the next 2 days. I am a political commentator. I think we're going to keep talking about the election. Please take a deep breath. Okay. Serious question. Do you think it's also media cherry picking to increase viewership and fearmonger? No.
Correspondent Steve Kornacki is here to walk us through all of the numbers. Steve, this is the moment we have been waiting for. What does this poll show us?
Yeah, I mean, fittingly, isn't it? At the very end, we find a tie nationally. 49% for Harris, 49% for Trump. Really, that's what we found when we last polled this a couple weeks ago. We go under the hood here and look at some of the other numbers there. There's this question of enthusiasm. A couple notable things here. This is the share of voters who are calling themselves very interested.
Do you like the cultivation of your current community when it comes to politics? Yes, I do. I love my community and I love the community that I've cultivated. I think it's wonderful and it basically keeps me alive. Okay.
In this election. You can see it stands at 77%, which is down from 2020 when we had that historic turnout. Also, interestingly here,
I don't think that these guys are keeping it 50-50 for some secret, like, material interest to keep the eyeballs on the election, or because they think that they want to, like, draw turnout. I think they are polling people and they're adjusting the polls with a Trump bump because of previous polls always consistently underestimating Trump because of his likelihood of, because of the ways in which Donald Trump brings low propensity voters to come out and vote for him. That's it. And I've been saying this already. I think that the reason why they're doing this is because they have underestimated Trump too many times and they don't want to underestimate him again. So they're trying to do their very best. They don't want to look like they got owned. Kanal gördüm senin yayınını yayınlıyor. Bir kişi izliyor. Muhtemelen o malum yayıncının ezik kitlesi. Moderatörlere gönderirsen hangi kanal olduğunu banlarız. bunch of kids. Kardeş.
The interest is lower among Hispanic voters and black voters. Typically, you would say that is bad news for Democrats. But this year, keep in mind, among black voters, that could be very troubling for the Democrats. But among Hispanic voters, the Trump folks are hoping for big strides. They've been seeing that in the polls. If that does not translate into Election Day votes, that could be trouble for them. Then we come to the issues that voters say that matter most to them.
Polling is not cheap, but I don't think this comes at the expense of journalism. I think the way that the Times uses polling to drive subscription and grow audience pays for the journalism, not the other way around. I would, however, like to have a better idea of who's going to win. News orgs pour tons of resources into polling at the expense of covering real issues, only to say 2 days before the election we really have no idea if we're right or wrong. A final point that I hope is obvious from the whole of my work, but may not be obvious if you only read individual snippets. I have no idea whether our polls or any polls might be right. Polls be right, too good for Harris or too good for Trump. No one does. This cycle, I've tried to offer real meat to these scenarios with evidence, not just abstract 30% Harris landslide, 30% Trump landslide, 40% too close. If you personally found some of that evidence more convincing than others, that's great. Me, I have no idea. This is why I'm Mr. fucking vibes-based analysis post polls, okay? That's it. Because even like the top pollsters, like Nate Cohn is the poll guy for the New York Times. Dave Wasserman, poll guy. Even the fucking top pollsters or the top analysts for polls is turning around and saying, like, I really don't know what the fuck's happening here. To be fair, I've always sprinkled vibes-based analysis on top of the polls. I cannot express how insane it is that Trump does good numbers with Hispanic voters. It makes sense. New from the Election Center, a very clear picture. What? It's a joke, dude. Quick summation of some of the points. There is no reason to believe pollsters fix what went wrong in 2020. There is some evidence. Non-response bias may be better, but also evidence is still there / no reason to assume it's gone. Unknown whether waiting fixes. Many pollsters, not us, have adopted heavy-handed practices that yield more Republican-leaning samples out of potentially, but not necessarily justify fear of systematically failing to reach Trump voters again. This is what I've been saying, okay? A lot of pollsters underestimated bigly Donald Trump in 2016. They still underestimated him in 2020. Okay, Donald Trump still outperformed the polls in 2020. The difference is Joe Biden won, just not by the margins that polls were showing him winning by. And that is precisely the reason why pollsters were like, well, you know, Trump is Mr. Turnout in the general especially, so we got to do something about it. And I think that the reason why the 2022 midterm polls were a lot closer wasn't necessarily because they had pollsters had overcorrected or had figured it out. The reason why 2022 polls were a lot closer within striking distance than like 2020 was because midterms have high propensity voter turnout. Okay? Those guys are easier to predict. Those guys are easier to analyze. This is why I think that the midterm election polls were a lot closer to what ended up happening. Whereas general election turnout is very different. Okay? That's it. That's the way I see it. And in order to, in my opinion, in order to make sure that they don't fuck up again in like, or even be closer to the margins of the end results, then even in 2020, they're overcorrecting with like at least a 2-point bump for Trump. And considering how close of a race this is, that obviously matters a lot. What the fuck? Atlas Intel Wisconsin poll, Trump picking up 65% of black voters. 65% of black voters? Look, Wisconsin is a weird state because it's like super rural. And that's why I've said out of like the blue wall, despite what the polls say, that's the one area that is the one fucking state that is like, I think, trickier for the Democratic Party than the rest of the blue wall. Okay? That is an insane statement. There's 8 black people total in Wisconsin. It doesn't matter, dude. That's like 65% of the black voters, not just black men. Not just black men. 65% of all black voters. That is not, you know, just specifically avoiding Milwaukee. Yeah. I'm from Wisconsin. I just don't believe that. Yeah, no, it's in it also is weird because like 65% of black voters, only 24% of Hispanic voters is also crazy. and the Asian voters are split 50-50. Like, what the fuck is going on in this poll, man? This is nutty. Misogyny voting for Trump is nasty work. No, this is not real, dude. What the fuck? Dude. There is not a... Okay, remember what I told you guys about how there is not a single state in the United States of America, the continental United States, that is majority in favor of heavy restrictions on abortion, okay? I stand on that. I'll stand on that even if I don't see a fucking poll. And I was correct. I was right when it came to Alabama, even though I hadn't seen a recent poll in Alabama, right? Remember that? This is another thing that I will tell you right now, okay? I have not seen any polls. I have not seen a single fucking poll on the Wisconsin black population, okay? And I can assure you that there is not a single fucking, like, I mean, this is crosstabs anyway, and it just is, this is just an unreliable ass poll overall, because I can tell you with a 100% certainty that there is not a single state where the majority of the black population, which also includes black women, okay, higher likelihood of voting and will vote by 80 to 90% for Kamala Harris. Like, the fact that black women and black men both are going to majority vote for Republicans is the most insane scenario. Okay, that is less likely than Texas and Florida flipping blue. Okay, stop sending me the fucking 2014 religious landscape study. You're so. The 2014 religious landscape study conducted is not an accurate reflection of how people view Roe v. Wade, especially post Roe v. Wade's abolition. Please stop sending me the same fucking poll. Ah! You guys hear me say something, turn around and Google something else. You guys literally put the keywords of what you have heard me say into the Google machine, and then you come back with the first result without looking at what's up.
Yeah.
What's happening?
Yeah, we got a problem.
What is it?
I can't even watch NMP clips, so I can't find out if he's dating Nora or Kachi.
Hold on, here, just speak into this microphone so people can hear you. What?
I try to stream, but I can't because I'm trying to watch
There's no, wait, there's no, oh, it was muted. Oops. Say it now. Say it again.
Okay, so I'm live.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
That's it.
Are you just trying to farm people that are 2 days out from the election to come and watch drama clips?
Well, what would they rather watch? Drama clips or drama clips about the president?
Drama clips about the president.
But NMP might be dating Kachi.
Okay.
You don't think that's important? What I was going to say to you is the internet is lagging.
Wait, really?
I try to watch like
I'm going to give you,
clips.
I'll give you March's, I'll give you March's phone number and you can text him and he can come and help you potentially. He said he would be down to do that, but I'm surprised that it's lagging.
Did your internet lag ever?
No, but I think it's because I'm Ethernet cable connected. You might be streaming off of Wi-Fi.
You did this on purpose.
That might be the reason.
So you did this on purpose.
Yeah, totally. I wanted to cook you.
Well, if you wanted me to help with the election, you just had to ask. We could do stream together.
Okay, I'm sending it to you. I sent him his his number to you.
Okay.
Text him, and he'll try and help.
Chat, I will say this though. Hasan a few years ago was not the best host. You were always on your phone, but you told me you deleted Twitter, and off stream, Hasan was actually very fun to hang out with and positive.
Yeah, I'm in a much better mental space for sure.
Like he
nowadays.
bought me food, we hung out.
Dude, how good was that fucking curry?
It was the best curry I ever had in my life.
Yeah.
Like on stream, he's a very negative man, but off stream, he was just extremely nice and positive.
Yeah. In spite of everything else that's going on.
Okay.
Right.
Now show me the NMP clip that you.
What is the
time.
NMP clip?
I don't know. What was the one that you showed him?
I don't know.
The one that got him on the news.
The Houthi clip. No, I can't show that, dude. What do you mean? I got a warning for showing that.
Oh, you did?
Yeah. Which is crazy because like it's allowed everywhere. Twitch's standards for moderation are so much higher than every other website, which is why it's like really funny when people are like, Twitch is anti-Semitic or whatever the fuck. Like they're so stupid for saying that shit because Twitch literally has a more rigid standard. Twitch literally has a more rigid standard for like what is allowed on the platform than any other website. And normally that shouldn't even get you banned. Like that video, showing that video should not get you banned. It doesn't get you banned on YouTube. It doesn't get you banned on Twitter. It's literally on every other website. But in this circumstance, it's like, it's Twitch's hyper rigid rules.
So yeah, he was really fun to hang out with off stream chat. He got me chicken, like really nice guy, and very sweet. That's all I wanted to say.
All right. Thank you. Well, we're gonna get back to poll watch. It was really funny when they unbanned Fresh and Fit for like a week, and all the YouTube creators were calling Twitch racist, while Fresh and Fit is not banned on YouTube. Exactly.
Really fun off stream. Got me chicken. Great guy.
All right, bro. You're gonna scratch the fucking ground. He's trying to clip farm. I can't wait for this to be on LSF again. And yeah, I already muted you. Get the fuck out. Go back to your stream. What are you doing? You just left this goddamn stream open. Gave Miz the PC that doesn't have Windows activated. It's not my fault. It's the one PC that we have that's like working right now in the house. They've also pretty much made all LGBT streamers segregated into the politics category. Yeah. Well, no, they're just saying like, don't you dare talk about that gay shit. Okay? If you want to talk about that gay shit, you're going to get a content warning. They're doing don't ask, don't tell. Twitch's policies are blast from the past where they're like, hey, content warning, don't say gay. Wait, so you even have a secondary stream set up for your streamer friends? It's kind of awesome. Yeah. If you're gay, if you're queer, your existence is not political unless you start talking about it. Okay? Unless you start talking about that gay shit. In which case, don't do it because you will get content warning. What is this? The garbage truck bit only hurt Trump more with Puerto Rican voters. Oh my God. Oh, Owen Jones went to a fucking Wisconsin. Oh, hell yeah. Putting British people in hogland is always my favorite type of content. I'm always in favor of that. We should torture British people more like this, okay? This is my favorite when they bring out the Guardian guy once every 4 years. Always funny until it happens to you. Yeah. Yeah, no, it's my special interest. Hogwatch is my special interest, but I especially love when Hogwatch is being conducted by like a British person who turns around and has to like speak to the hogs directly. It's the best. Because even if you straight up are a British hog, you are not as hogged up as an American hog. I know this is cringe, but you can't do cross-tab diving unless the group you're looking at has what is called an oversample. Otherwise, the number of people surveyed is too small to be statistically representative. However, an odd result in the crosstabs doesn't discount the overall sample. Makes sense.
And how they rate the candidates. And I think, again, notably, Harris continues to do best on abortion, 20-point advantage there. Trump continues to do best on inflation, cost of living, an advantage there of 12.
This is something to watch on. Of course, she's actually doing better on abortion than Trump is doing on inflation and cost of living. We'll have to see how that pans out with the voters.
Absolutely. And we can continue and take a look here. This other issue, we talked about it in our last poll, too, the dueling approval ratings. This is sort of an albatross for Harris here. Her administration that she's a part of, Joe Biden's approval rating sits at just 41%. And then there's this twist. Donald Trump, retrospectively, do you now approve of how he did as president? In our poll, 48%, almost half, give him that approval rating.
And we have to pause again because 48% is higher than the approval ratings he was getting when he was president, Steve. Really striking to see that.
Exactly. So is that a hidden advantage there for Trump in some way? Then there's this question, too. We just hear all the stories, all the images from early voting. And look at this. 2/3 of voters in our poll say they've either voted already or they're going to vote early. On Election Day, 1/3 of the electorate actually saying they will turn out and vote then. And you can see, we saw a bit of this in 2020, remember, the early vote here, more Harris friendly in our poll. That Election Day vote, that's the big wild card. You don't know what that turnout will look like on Election Day. But if Trump has an advantage there, see if it's enough to overcome what he could potentially lose in the early side. And then the gender gap. Again, we've talked about this throughout the campaign, we've talked about this for decades. Trump up 18 with men, Harris 16 with women. That is a 34-point gender gap by about 10 points. If this happens, this would be the biggest gender gap ever recorded.
Stunning. And his lead with men bigger than her lead with women.
It's an interesting turnabout from I think what we've seen in the past in some cases here. And then you could just take a look here. These are the battleground states. We got some new polls this morning. And I mean,
Steve Kornacki's doing gender. They got him. He's woke now. Do you have anything big planned for Election Day? Yes, Josh, Edinger Mentum is going to be wearing his best khakis and we'll have a board behind him to do his best Steve Kornacki impression. I will say, especially with the seltzer polls, like the number one pollster for the Majority Report, Chapo, and the HasanAbi broadcast is looking pretty fucking fresh in comparison to everyone else. Now we'll see. We'll see on Election Day. He's either going to win big and become a legend, or he is going to have egg on his face. He's not going to be here. He's not going to be here personally. He's going to be tuning in from Discord. What crossover ep DSA LA? Why did you film it like this? Like, oh my God, DSA LA, you fucking boomers. Jesus Christ. Why is there Vaseline over the camera?
yeah, what can you say? These are the averages. And look, the most lopsided, quote unquote, 1.9 points for Trump in Arizona. So razor thin in the battlegrounds.
Yeah.
Thanks for watching. Stay updated about breaking.
This is funny. I kind of want to watch this.
When was the insurrection?
House divided. My parents split. My parents and I are split between Trump and Harris. Will you be bringing the gay on Tuesday? Yes, I think so. I just texted him. I forgot to ask him.
Let's take
ahead of time because I always just assume that he would be here. Luckily, we already have a content warning in terms of like talking about politics. So him bringing up gay shit won't be, won't get a slap with an additional content warning. Are you taking the Tuesday off? Yeah. Yeah. What are you, fucking crazy? I was looking at something that I think is interesting, I guess. But I was looking at my stats leading up to the election. from 2020. And that was, remember, COVID, right? And the stats leading up to the election, my max viewership, like one day before the election or 2 days before the election, was around like 28K. And I guess I was wrong because like even back then it was during COVID too. And it's interesting to think about because like now I'm 40K average, but leading up to the election, then it goes it skyrockets after post election for like the week or maybe even the month after. And I was wrong. Like I was wrong that I thought that the numbers were looking bad in comparison to like the last election cycle. And yeah, I did peak more than the election night with January 6th. Let's continue.
Take a look at the polling aggregates across those 7 key battlegrounds that we've been talking about, right? In your Sun Belt, you see a little bit more red than blue. In fact, there is no blue in the Sun Belt. But again, it's way too close to call. Trump by 3 in Arizona, 2 in Georgia, 1 in North Carolina, a tie in Nevada. Come over to those Great Lakes and a little bit more blue here. But look at this, just a point in Michigan.
But in 2021, there was a long period where you were 40K. That's why you're probably confused. Yeah.
Less than a point. When you're breaking out this symbol, Jessica, the less than, you know how close the race is. And then, of course, in Pennsylvania,
I was canvassing the other day while wearing your merch, and everyone out with me said they'll be tuning to you on Election Day. Hell yeah. Your numbers for the Never Kevers were hilarious. Can't believe people cared so much about that shit. Yeah, it was really funny. What was your peak during the Kevin McCarthy Speaker of the House situation? Hashtag Never Kever. Yeah, there was a lot of fun. There's been a lot of fun moments on this broadcast. Let's be real. We'll see. We'll see what happens with the election. Do you think they're purposely making the election look close when it's not? No, I'm not. I'm not thinking that. I do think that they are slanted in favor of Donald Trump a little bit, but that doesn't mean that they're doing it for like some secret reason. It is close. I think it is definitely a close election. Now, same day voter turnout is important. What is this? What is it going to take for Mike from PA coverage? Oh, yeah, dude, of course. Dude, especially, listen, Michael from Pennsylvania, especially if fucking Kamala Harris is winning, you know I'm a fucking posterize your ass. And you can come talk shit if Donald Trump is winning, okay? I'll give you your fucking flowers. You know that I agree with your analysis. We're almost completely aligned on this, okay? We're almost completely aligned on this. You are, I would say, like you and I are right in the fucking center where I have been leaning in favor of Kamala Harris winning the election and you've been leaning in favor of Donald Trump winning the election for the exact same reasons that we've talked about. The predictions for an unknowable outcome are close, but the results won't necessarily be. It's just not going to be reflected in any of the predictions because that's not how it works by definition. All right. This is, we're going to talk about the Iran stuff in a second, but here.
There's a lot of spirit.
This is some, this is how Trump world reacted to the Seltzer poll.
He's right. Well, there's a lot of spirit here, you know. And we even have the polls up, but I think it's much more than the polls. No, the polls, I'm telling you, you can make those suckers sing. You get the right pollster, you can do, and you really do inflict damage, you know, when you do like this person from Iowa. Today, the election essentially is really, we're talking Turkey, comes out with a poll different from every other poll because it wasn't even in question. It's really the opposite way. I'm way up. If you look at 3-4 months ago, Dan.
Lil Tits? What the fuck? Pennsylvania's got some fake ass names for his towns, dog. What the hell is Little Tits? Littits. I
was losing states that now are walks, you know, they're now walks. And I think you could have.
I know about Middlesex. I think New Jersey has a Middlesex too.
That here, it's called suppression. They suppress, and it's actually should be illegal because it's.
I remember you having more fun in your 2020 election season streams than this one. You seem down to me. Is that a fair assessment? Yes. America is on the fucking downturn. Clifford never cares about view count.
I need the latest. I need to be second by second.
53,000 people were tuned in to watch Never Kevers on the night. Okay. 53,000 people were tuned in. And I think it was like a Friday night. That's so stupid. That's so fucking stupid, dude. Why is this community so dumb? But yeah, no, I am definitely more upset about the future of this country. And there are obviously good reasons to be upset about the future of this country. It's not as fun when you got an ongoing act of genocide that has been, happening for the past 12 plus months at this point. And both parties have become more reactionary on the issue of immigration. All this stuff hurts my soul. And I am genuinely fearful. about the future of this country. So
in many ways, it's worse than the written word, which these guys do quite well, actually. He's right.
Yeah, he's coping. He's doing copium. I asked Trump if this is Jonathan Karl from ABC News. He says, I asked Trump if he believed there was any way he could lose. He said, yeah, I guess, Trump answered, I guess you could lose, can lose. I mean, that happens, right? But I think I have a pretty substantial lead. But you could say, yeah, you could lose. Bad things could happen. Crazy. I think the Ozempic is causing him to have low T. That's a wild take. That is a wild take because Trump world has been running with, we're winning every state. We're going to win New York. New York is a swing state now. It's so funny that he's depressed. There was an Emerson poll at the same time where he was up 10, Lamau. That's what I'm saying. I think, oh my God, a chatter is correct. Remember what I told you guys about the golf thing? You're right. It is no golf. Oh my God. Oh my God. It's the no golf. Oh my God. It became true. The prediction is real. Him not being able to golf anymore because of fucking credible threats to his life is literally causing him bodily harm. Oh no. Oh no. Also, this was funny. NTD fucking woke cameraman hurting Trump.
9 years, we've had the biggest rallies in history of any country. And
hold on.
Every rally is
grab my food.
You don't have any seats that are empty. You don't have anything. I mean, the one we had today, you missed a beauty. We could have filled that place up 20 times. I mean, that was beautiful. And the Virginia rally, did you hear about the Virginia rally? That was, Glenn Youngkin did a great job, the governor of Virginia, and they had a crowd there that was incredible. And then we came here, and we don't want to be late, but it's very hard when you do these things. It's very hard, and you don't mind a little bit. We weren't very late. Just a few minutes.
You can't be
Just
doing a
few
full
minutes,
pan.
depending on your definition of when it's going to start. But you know, we've been doing. I was talking to some
Grand
people.
Text, thank you for the 10
in a way
gifted.
it's sad, and in a way it's beautiful. It's just beauty. We could have filled that place up 20 times. I mean.
He's like, the crowds is so crazy. We've filled the entire arena. It's never been this full. It's never been this full ever.
That was beautiful. And the Virginia rally, did you hear about the Virginia rally? That was Glenn Youngkin did a.
It's funny because he's getting fact checked in real time by the NTD camera person, which is wild because NTD is like the Falun Gong operation. They're the nuttiest guys out there. Boys, my food is here. NTD and Epoch Times are like the Falun Gong op. Keep going, it gets better. Hold on, I'm gonna fucking keep going. Calm down. Jesus Christ, y'all are chill the fuck out. These are like, this is Trump world shit. This is like right side broadcasting going against what Donald Trump is saying by showing the rally sizes not being as big or the room not being as filled.
The governor of Virginia, and they had a crowd there that was incredible. And then we came here, and we don't want to be late, but it's very hard when you do these things. It's very hard, and you don't mind a little bit. We weren't very late. Just a few minutes, depending on your definition of when it's going to start. But you know, we've been doing, I was talking to some of the people. It's sort of, you know, in a way it's sad, and in a way it's beautiful. I was talking to them and I said, you know, this is coming to an end. These rallies are coming to an end. We've been doing them.
Oh my God, they're showing people leaving. Oh, dude. I can't help but get a little libbed up, dude. I'm sorry. I know people think it's like gross of me, but when I see Trump having low motion or losing momentum, it does make me a little happy.
Years. We started a year before, and we've had tremendous success. In 2016, we did phenomenally, right? We went in, they said they gave us a 3% chance, and sort of like amazing, right? 3%. That means 97% for crooked Hillary and 3% for me. And I was saying, well, I went to Iowa and I had 48,000 people, and she had about 300 people. And then we went to another one in another state. We had 49,000.
I think it's funny to say that about Hillary Clinton when Kamala Harris has had larger fucking crowds and larger rallies than both Joe Biden, which happened during COVID, so it's a little different, and certainly than Hillary Clinton.
1,000 people. She had 243 people. And I kept saying, why are we going to lose? Why?
Even the viewership declined. It went from 4.8K to 4.4K in this time frame.
Why are we going to lose? And we didn't lose, you know. We ended up winning. And we ended up winning the presidency, right? And that was an exciting night. Remember how it started? It started with a bunch of fake news. Look, there they are. That's a lot of fake news. That's a hell of a lot of fake news. The fakers, I call them now. I'm sort of lightening up. I'm starting to like them, too. I don't know what it would be like to get good publicity. I really don't. They treat me so badly.
Wait, they cut it off? Bro got fired on the spot. That's crazy. Okay, another point for panic. They've activated Alex Jones.
You know they're not going to just give up easily after the impeachments and the Russian collusion crap and all the fake indictments and the lawfare. This is common sense. So I'm saying be ready for the Civil War conditions and the not certifying it, and Carville saying we need an armed uprising against Trump and Trump supporters. I mean, these people are going for broke. And mainline Republican supporters aren't really ready for this. Trump is starting to get it and was talking about all this just minutes ago. You know they're not going to just give up easily after the impeachments and the Russian collusion crap and all the fake indictments and the...
Why does he look so red? Oh, here's another Here's another indication. Does he hate Trump? No, he loves Trump. That was, I think, what killed Alex Jones a little bit. Alex Jones used to be like anti-Bush. He was like, Bush did 9/11. Like, he was that kind of guy. And Trump totally brought him into the base. And he became this like annoying party defender, like party loyalist. And you can even hear it there when he's talking about like what we must do. It's just, he sucks. No president has done more for farmers in the great state of Iowa than Donald J. Trump. In fact, it's not even close. All polls, except for one heavily skewed towards the Democrats by a Trump hater who called it totally wrong the last time, have me up by a lot. I love the farmers and they love me. The just out Emerson poll has me up 10 points in Iowa. Thank you. Also, the garbage truck comments. The garbage truck bit only hurt Trump more with Puerto Rican voters, which is pretty funny. He did a callback to it. HuffPost spoke with several Puerto Rican voters outside of Seatown Supermarket in Bethlehem Southside, across the street from the Puerto Rican Beneficial Society. Nisla Vega and Nidel Pacheco of Hellertown, a borough south of Bethlehem, both said they had never voted before, but Hinchcliffe's remarks were the reason they plan to vote for Harris on Tuesday. That hit the spot right there, Vega said. They keep saying, oh, he's only a comedian. It still hurts. Pacheco saw Trump's decision to pose in a garbage truck at a campaign stop in Wisconsin the following day as an additional insult. If he didn't have nothing to do with it, what's he doing in the garbage truck? Pacheco asked. Pacheco. No one heard the Biden part of the story, so they assumed the garbage truck was a reference to the Puerto Rico comment again, most terminally online campaign on earth. Yup. It was too fast, too. It was too quick of a turnover. Last thing I'm going to talk about with the Seltzer poll. It's already been said by quite a lot of people at the point, but the main driving force of Harris's surge in the final Seltzer polls due to abortion in state's recent abortion bill. On the ground, I see this groundswell of opposition against the bill for months. To start with a basic fact, what do Iowans think of the 6-week ban? They dislike it quite a lot. As we've seen in many culturally conservative states over the last 2 years, a large majority of Iowans dislike the abortion ban. Again, too insane. Too insane for the normal whites. You can't have it. You can't do that. Can't be doing that. Even a plurality of men oppose the bill. And an incredibly large majority of women in the state oppose it. Okay? In the breakdowns, you can shed some light on a lot of the more dramatic shifts in the Seltzer poll. 71% of suburban adults, 88% of suburban women. These are voters that are more likely to shift away from Trump this year when a lot of them voted for him in 2020. Why do you think men support the bill? More men support the bill? What do you think? What do you think? It's because they're dudes. They're never going to have to get a fucking abortion. So they don't think. The entire premise of the abortion ban is basically about controlling women's bodies. And, you know, not to get all fucking Rad Libby up in this bitch, but yeah, men kind of fuck with that. They like it. Or at the very least, they're selfish and they don't think about it. That's it. Yeah. For them, they either A, don't give a fuck because it's like, it don't bother me. I don't give a shit. Yeah, it seems like life is life. We should preserve it or whatever the fuck. Or they just straight up like it. Even pro-life advocates believe the bill is uniquely harsh. It single-handedly helped crash Kim Reynolds' approval rating. There are things Seltzer and many other people around here pointed in regards to the results of the final poll. And while it's easy to sift through the crosstabs and call bull, there are very good reasons to believe that the overall shifts are happening. To end, I'd like to note one little part of the Seltzer poll I found interesting. We didn't see Trump lose support. We saw Harris gain support. She surged with new voters and independents. In my opinion, that grants the poll different credibility than if Trump had lost a lot of ground. If you want more decent Iowa politics coverage, I might try to focus on it. Okay. Now let's get back to Harry Anton. We're doing poll watch, baby.
Port in Pennsylvania. Todd.
Why is caring about things that specifically affect women